want to talk about something we missed. So if you remember back about, oh God, 2.5, almost 3 months ago, there was a Reddit leak that appeared to be what I would consider a PR dump by Kennedy's faction on Reddit. And it was obviously trying to deny what's become like a staple of discussion among the different YouTube channels. Is there a civil war going on at Lucasfilm or is there not? Well, the kerfuffle with what happened with Gina pretty much shows that, yes, there is a civil war going on at Lucasfilm and they can deny it all they want. But, you know, again, I said this in the video that I made about the first leak that came out, that it's kind of hard for me to believe Jon Favreau would be all kissy face and nice with Kathleen Kennedy after what she did or allowed to have happen to Gina. And it's a very interesting thing. It's almost as if you're seeing either J.J. Abrams trying to protect himself or Kathleen. I think it's probably Kathleen trying to protect both of them. And it's a very interesting kind of a long, almost rambling, when you get past the main part, which is the first part of it, telling of the tale. I don't agree necessarily that Kennedy was all that keen on what they're trying to say. So the second link comes out, and there's a link in the description. So if you guys want to look at it real quick before I jump in, that'd be great. But the second link is extremely interesting. It's basically, when you go through it, it's throwing Alan Horn under the bus. Alan Horn, and I find this very hard to believe. Alan Horn, basically, this person is stating that Alan Horn didn't want to see the cast change. He was wanting the cast to look like the original cast. He didn't like the idea of making Finn a black stormtrooper, and they're trying to blame the Chinese on that. Which, I mean, no one cares about that at all. Basically, he was against diversifying the cast. If you look at the original cast was pretty diverse. I mean, by the end of it, you get Billy D. Williams and everybody else. So it's like, what are you talking about? So he is being thrown under the bus. Basically, in the leakers' view, he was the bad guy. He was the one that wouldn't let them go far enough. I find it very interesting. I don't believe it. And basically, it was Kennedy that went to war for John Boyega to be part of the Star Wars cast. She was the one that ultimately had to apologize for how John Boyega and Kelly Marie Tran were treated. Look, you guys wrote shitty scripts and they were shitty characters. There's a reason why we didn't like them. And it wasn't because Kelly Marie Tran's Vietnamese or that John Boyega's Nigerian. It's because they sucked. The characters sucked. The actors don't suck, the characters suck. Ta-da! It's just really interesting. Now, here's the other interesting part. Get ready. Basically, it goes and says Jason Ward was used as a tool for leaking by Pablo, and it mentions that Pablo has several different accounts. Now, when you read it, you go in there and say, are they talking about Pablo or Jason? We all know that Jason has an overabundance of Twitter accounts and other accounts everywhere to cause trouble. Okay. I put two and two together a long time ago and figured Jason was getting his garbage from Hidalgo. It just made sense. They're both, brothers from the same mother. Oh yeah, he has a 206. You're right. And it just makes sense, that whole thing. So anyway, yeah, they're trying to throw, now this leak was put out there 51 days ago. No one saw it. I just found it. No one at Midnight's Edge saw it. The guys at Echo Base Network didn't see it. Cameron, I just sent it to Cameron, so hopefully he'll get back to me. But this is all new. And what was happening 51 days ago, the Bad Batch came out. There were a lot of things happening. Okay, we're starting to get more information about Indiana Jones casting news. So people were not paying attention. This is big. And this is not, I'm going to say this, you can't, first off, the person who leaked it, you can't follow their account on Reddit. It's unknown. It doesn't exist. It shows up and there it is. So that's weird. It's basically waving the flag of JJ and KK and throwing, let's see, Alan Horn under the bus. And I think it kind of coincided it came out before the Variety article, okay, where it said Alan Horn was leaving, okay. But it threw Pablo under the bus. And again, this is the first time it's been mentioned anywhere of his internet chicanery, okay, that I've seen that looks like it comes from a semi-official source. So he's being thrown under the bus, just like Cameron said to them, Lucasfilm, and they were very mad at him, okay? They have been causing him trouble again on Twitter. He's back on Twitter. It's just very, this is a very interesting leak, and it just says there's something going on that we're not privy to. Now, I ran into somebody who was saying, oh, you must be a devotee of Doomcock. And I was like, well, you must blow Ward and Pablo. All right. And then he was like, you shouldn't talk to people like that. Oh, hey, you know what? You started it. You started it. Don't be surprised to get bitten when you do shit like that. Okay. It's just very, and the reason why he was upset was because I replied to him, if you honestly think Disney wants any of this in the public eye till they can figure a way out of the PR nightmare, because that's what these sheltered pooches think. Yep, poke the tiger, get the claws. Yep, you're right, Dave, Cinedave. I've got a dog right here. Yeah, he's got his brother's toy, and he's insisting that but I basically said Disney doesn't want this out. Disney does not want this out because it's a PR nightmare. And they've got money sunk into Indiana Jones 5, where's Kennedy? She's in England, being annoying on the set of Indiana Jones 5. They can't afford, they don't feel like they can afford the PR nightmare. They've never been, when you talk to people in the financial world, Valiant Renegade, Andre, Lorena Creel, Cultures Casino, Clownfish TV, Disney's never been straightforward and honest about what's going on with the company. And there are times when you wonder if they even know what's going on with the company. All right? So when people say reply to a very well thought out reply to their ignorance was something stupid, first off, you find out this. They're not smart enough to understand. So you're actually talking to a moron. Second of all, they honestly, they're probably people who watch CNN and believe everything. So, you know, if they get bopped in the nose by somebody online because they're being dickheads and stupid, there you go. Anyway, I want to show you my latest. Here she is, Asajj. Pretty cool. Very cool details. So I'm gonna put her up in the collection. So I got her, Bane, Cad Bane, and I've got Lando from Return of the Jedi coming in his general uniform. So anyway, yeah, she is very cool. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I might have her maybe facing off with Anakin. I'm not sure. Or facing off with Dooku. I mean, who knows? But she's a pretty cool character. So, and I've always loved her dress. I don't know why. It was just, it's really cool. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, we've got these two leaks. If you went and looked at it at the, I put a link in the description. You went and looked. Tell me what you think, because they didn't want everybody to be talking about it like we talked about the first one. And it was timed to come out 2 weeks after the first one came out. Yeah, I did. I really liked it too. But I want to say, I think there's more than one group trying to get their hands on Omega. I think that Bane is, when you're watching the Kaminoans talk about getting Omega back, I think the boss Kaminoan, I can't remember his name, was basically kind of alluding to the fact that he hired Bane to go do it. Okay. Fennec Shand, when she was in that episode, when you're sitting there, you're watching it, she's talking to someone who looks from the back like it could be Bail Organa. If you look at, you only see like the bottom of his cloak and his legs, but he doesn't look like, and he looks like Bail Organa. It looks like, I think, Bail Organa. It didn't look like Boba Fett, because I didn't see any spurs, I didn't see his boots, I didn't see any of that armor or anything. Oh, really? I like Cad Bane. Hey, Maze, did you see it? Here. See? So she's here. I'm gonna put her up in the thing. There's a theory out there that I just read that Cad Bane and Boba got into a gunfight and Boba killed him. So, I don't know if that's going to be something. Yeah, it does. It's very hardened. I mean, he is just watching that whole thing. That was like Doc Holliday and Johnny Ringo. I'm not kidding. I mean, that's kind of the first gunfight I've ever seen in Star Wars. I mean, just a minute. Get out of the kitchen, you rat. Lay down. Come on, Kojak. Come on, lay down. Kojak. Can you hear him? He just wants it. I don't think, they get to a certain point and they never quite grow up and they always want to play. And that's all he wants to do. So I think when I'm done here, I'm going to take him out and throw the ball for him. But anyway, he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy. But anyway, yeah, I'm hoping that we get to see Fett. I mean, this could almost be Bane takes the kid the kid gets kidnapped by another bounty hunter, then another bounty hunter, and they're going from one to the other. What happened to Crosshair was pretty. I mean, he lost half his face. I mean, his eyes are all messed up. Pretty interesting. Pretty. I mean, it was a pretty good. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. Yep. Yeah, that's all you need to do. You're right. Morrison comes in there and does some voice work, and that would be, yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe he did. I don't know, but we're gonna see some newer. We're gonna see some other OG characters too, I think. Oh, I think they wrapped Mazeras. Yeah, they wrapped the Book of Boba Fett. So, and I think these 16 episodes of Bad Batch have already been filmed. So, if he did voice work, it's probably already done. Because Ming Na Wen posted a picture saying it's a wrap on Insta. So, anyway, I am. Yeah, this is again going back to the to that Reddit leak. I don't know. I mean, May's read it, and it's just really it's fascinating to me. It really is. I mean, I'm like, so I think she is trying to throw Alan Horn under the bus. What I love about it, what was that first thing? I mean, said something about there's no, first bullet point, there's no there's no civil war at Lucasfilm. Yes, there is. That is so stupid. How can there not be? When you've got, Favreau trying to hide Luke from Kennedy, when you've got Fire Gina Carano coming from inside Lucasfilm itself, when you've got all kinds of crap. Yeah, and you're right. Good morning, House Atreides. That was just hilarious. And then blaming Alan Horn for not wanting to piss off the audience. You know. Oh yeah, right, Dave. I'm like, hi buddy. Hi. I'm like, if he's looking at Star Wars and realizing that there's a fan base, you stay away from her. He was just eyeing Asajj, and I'm like, if he tears that up, I'll kill him. I will kill him. If Alan Horn was the one saying, I think that we should try to repeat the cast from the OT, that we don't want to make or upset the fans. Now, the person writing this says it was the conservative fans, because over 85% of the fans that said fuck this shit are conservative, right? Because they've only got about 15% left, if that, who care about their stupid crap, like Dr. Afra and Haldo and the Stoned Republic and all the rest of that. We're not buying it. I mean, how many people do we know who are not conservative, who hate it? A lot. From all over the world. So they're trying to blame the old white man and the fact that he wanted to kind of remind everybody of the fan base calling us names. And, and then there's a passage where, not being able to accept change. It's like, I mean, here's the deal. There's a way to do things without ruining all of it. And they ruined all of it. My other favorite thing is the producer, Kennedy, and the directors, Johnson and Abrams, didn't have enough time to do a proper trilogy, blah, blah, blah. What? All right, here's the deal. You get the best writer you can. You don't get writers. You don't have a conference. The Suits, stay away from it. You got $225 million. And you got 2 years for a script to go from a script to pre-production to principal photography to post-production. You can do that in a year, all right? They were given treatments by George that they could have used, that they decided to shit can. And of course, if I remember right, Alan Horn and Bob Iger were blamed for that. In fact, I think in Iger's book, Iger himself takes responsibility for that. Why? I mean, why? My God. All right, so they're innocent. This is literally, when you look at this is unbelievable. The crap. This is, please don't hate us. We did the best we could. We didn't have any time. And, everything that we wanted to do for diversity and stuff was met with roadblocks because this old white man wanted to keep Star Wars, and blah, blah. That's what it's about. Oh, yeah. And, he had script overviews and outlines for the sequel trilogy. God knows how long it took him to do that. I didn't know he was working on it. We had just assumed episodes 1 through 6 were it, right? Okay, so they have these. They don't use them. And now we've got someone who's either in Kathy's camp or JJ's camp or Rian Johnson's camp defending them and throwing, weirdly enough, Alan Horn under the bus and indirectly Bob Iger and Pablo? Pablo was Ryan's best friend. They were each other's bestest buddies ever. So it's like, the shit is thick. The shit is deep. It is beyond deep. And it's funny. I'm laughing right now at this. And the reason why is watching this happen and watching them scramble. Now, the part that really kind of made me cringe was when the person says, there are changes coming, there will be announcements in the next few weeks. This was before the Filoni announcement. So there's one. Okay. But that people will be leaving, people will be moving on, different parts of the company or getting promoted. Okay, Dave Filoni was promoted. But Kathy better not be promoted anywhere. She doesn't need to be, she could just go back to working with her husband at Kennedy Marshall Film and Productions and be happy, okay? That's what she should be doing. Or building her own studio. Come here. What are you doing? He's looking for his daddy, and his daddy's upstairs, so his daddy's getting ready for church, and I got to too. But I'm not gonna get ready. I don't really have to leave until 3, so, and it is 1:26. So anyway, so that bothered me. And then of course, the surprise of shockers. Jason Ward was one of Pablo's little tools, and either Pablo or Jason had several different accounts and everywhere and caused a lot of trouble. See, I'm not sure if he's talking about Ward or Pablo. I do know Pablo has had several accounts because one he's using that's public right now was a troll account that he used, okay? Was one I found. So, anyway, just a minute. If you want to put him in his house, you can. The dog loves Daddy a lot. Anyway, no, you get to go to the house. I don't want you. I guess not. Okay, well, he's gonna be out again. It's just, so this is basically reiterating everything that I thought was happening. I remember basically saying that Jason Ward and Pablo were connected in some way, and people laughing at me. I'm gonna die on that hill. I know they are. Because Ward always shows up and says, "No, I'm sure that's not gonna happen." No, and my favorite was when he showed up in Deseret News in that Tool reporter wanting to do a thing about, because he'd heard that the ST might be retconned and basically put in a multiverse. And it was just really interesting to me because Ward goes on there like he's sure, like he knows. Why be so confident if you didn't hear it from somebody on the inside? All right, and then don't sit there and claim you don't have any inside knowledge if what you said is true. But yeah, they've been connected. They've been connected. I did want to ask that news reporter a question and just say, hey, you know anything about Jason Ward? What kind of person he is? Let me tell you, and then I tell him. Okay? Because he needs to know. This guy is a dirtbag. Okay? He is a dirtbag. You need to know this. There. What else? And of course, so it's somebody who is defending the dumpster fire, sequel trilogy, and Kennedy, and the directors throwing people like Pablo under the bus who went out of their way to be hostile to fans who didn't like it. We're watching them eat their own right now, I think. And I'm actually waiting to see this person post another one. I'm waiting to see that we will hear public things. I'm almost positive that when all this is done and over, that we will be seeing. Yeah, you're right, Mazurus. They're trying, and, I think it was Andre on Midnight's Edge basically thinking that it looked like it could be JJ trying to defend himself because of the Warner Brothers merger and his deal with them. Now that makes sense. But if Kennedy is trying to, or maybe it's her taking care of all three of them in this. But it's someone who is definitely got a loyalty towards the three of them. Okay. And my favorite is everybody thinks that they were what was the other line, Mazurus? Everybody assumes that they were the villains, but it was really Alan Horn. Alan Horn, who wanted to make sure that the fans were happy. Alan Horn, who was like, I really kind of want the cast to look like the original cast. Okay, that's fine. I can do that. It has nothing to do with being a racist. What they're trying to do is make Alan Horn look like a racist. And but I'm going to say this. I think he understood the Chinese audience better than the white lefties running Lucasfilm, because he was like, I can't sell a black man as a Jedi in China. Oops, sorry guys. All right. You know, and he was right. He couldn't. He absolutely couldn't. And it's interesting to me when I look at that, when I read that, because he had a sense of reality about himself. And of course, it's JJ going, we need to have a diverse cast. I'm a guilty white Jewish boy who grew up rich in Hollywood. And I can't. I just can't. It's like, wow, dude. We got that going on. And Kennedy, going out there to defend Boyega when I think she was the one that said she didn't want him. And JJ, the first story I heard was JJ went to bat for him and she didn't. That was the first story I heard. So I don't know. What do you guys think? See, someone is going to bat for all three of them and trying to throw Alan Horn under the bus, Pablo under the bus. And hey, you know what? When Cameron told the little dweebs at Lucasfilm, hey, you know what? No one wants you guys on when you're going to lose your jobs, and you're not going to be able to find another job in the business because no one wants to work with you. And now, that karmic payment that Pablo, that karmic debt came due, and he's being thrown. Hey, Chris, he's being thrown under the bus. I can't. If you want, Chris, there was another Reddit leak by the same leaker. Remember, about almost 3 months ago, that leak came out. Well, the person added more, and basically throwing Alan Horn under the bus. Alan Horn, is he a villain or a hero? Well, after reading this, he's a hero. All right. The thing about it is this. Diversity in the way they were trying to do it is manufactured bullshit. Thanks. All right. They work day and night to basically undermine the stories and what Lucas built because they thought it was too white. Oh, these 4 white people. Kathleen, no, these 3. No, yeah, 3. Kathleen Kennedy, J.J. Abrams, and Rian Johnson. Okay. So they tried to manufacture diversity by having a black stormtrooper. No one cared. You know what's really funny? When we were watching The Empire Strikes Back, did anybody go, oh my gosh, that Lando is black and freak out? No, I didn't care. That was back in 1980. We didn't care. Now it's like, oh my God, a black stormtrooper. Like, should we give him a parade? I mean, who cares? But this is what happens when you have a bunch of devotees to critical race theory running around. They all think they're the first to have ever done anything. I mean, and that's simply not the case. And when they supplanted the story with their tokenism, which is what that is, when you turn John Boyega into basically a comedic byline in the movie because, you've got one guy going, the guy who basically oversees all the studios, basically saying, I don't think the Chinese audience is going to like this. And the Bai Shao going, or Bai Shui or whatever they call him, going, well, we have to have a black stormtrooper. It's like, and then you got me going, no one cares. You think you're the first people to do this? Did you ever see Force 10 from Navarone? Carl what? Yeah. Or no. Carl Weathers is in that. Yeah. Okay. You ever see The Empire Strikes Back? Billy D. Williams is in that. So John Boyega isn't taking any major steps in anything. No one cares anymore. Part of the problem that they have right now with sequel trilogy is that they think people are being wowed by their sense of fair play and no one cares. Okay? It's just really, I am stunned by that. But when I read it, I would love to see Alan Horn's defense of himself. Because I'll bet you $1,000 he read the tea leaves and said, this is going to go bad. This is, I mean, I'm sure he read the script for The Last Jedi and said, why do we need Kelly Marie Tran in this? What use is her character? Okay. See, he's understanding something that they're not. And, oh, no, I mean, and I'm sure that if they ever watched any of the Rat Pack stuff with Sammy Davis Jr., they would probably think that Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra were being racist against him. They weren't, but they would think that because, and he knew that. So I honestly would love to see what Alan Horn's defense of himself would be. Because $1,000 says he's probably on our side. And I thought for a long time he was the problem with The Last Jedi, that he liked it. And, was the person pushing it. And we find out in this he probably wasn't. It's kind of too bad. But hopefully this Alan Braverman, I think he's the guy taking over for him, understands that, get woke, go broke is a real thing because they're suffering from it right now. I mean, this is going to be a harsh lesson for a lot of the younger people, because JJ's got a lot of money. He's fine. Ryan Johnson's fine. Kennedy's going to be fine. It's the little flying monkeys that are going to be the ones who aren't, that are going to end up being the ones, getting run over by the bus through all this, because they believed in this crap to the point where it destroyed the sequel trilogy, and it destroyed, Star Wars for a lot of people. Okay, they were the ones that got embroiled in the Gina Carano thing, when all they had to do is just scroll past. All they have to do is scroll past, and like a grown-up would. It's just very interesting now, and it's going to be more interesting, I think, as it goes. But I really wanted to bring this up because there's even more to it. When you look at this thing and you read it, and you realize it's an absolute narrative that goes against everything that you see in the public. I mean, you can't tell me, after all the crap went down with Gina, that there isn't a civil war or some strife going on. Oh yeah, you're right on that. You can't tell me that. Of course there is. I can't imagine. I mean, I can imagine Kennedy and Favreau being professional to each other. I can imagine, Filoni, who's not in that at that level, being extremely professional. But the doors shut, they're away from each other, and I can see a lot of shit going down. And you guys know, and I know, what happened with Gina came right out of Kennedy's side of Lucasfilm. Notice how she's not mentioned at all in this. And as kind of tired of hearing about her as I'm getting, and I am, she was the catalyst to start moving this stuff faster, even faster than COVID was. Because Chapek saw it and went, all right, I'm done. I'm done. We can't do this anymore. I mean, but this person didn't mention her once. So, and I'm sure there would be like well, Kathleen didn't have anything to do with that. It was all Disney. Bullshit. She sent an email or called the Bobs. The Bobs then had to go and call John. And Jon Favreau had a shit fit. And I believe Doomcock on that one. Okay? There's no reason not to. He was building a series around her. I can't see him being happy-clappy about her being fired. Can you? Or fired. Let go. When people say she is fired, it assumes she was under contract, and she wasn't. The only thing that she was really under contract with was her management agency at the time, and they let her go that same night because they're stupid. So, yeah, I mean, I'm like, yes, there is something bad going on there. Quit trying to sugarcoat it. Okay? And, the lady said, or the guy, whoever posted this said, Moedas and Gupta, Jon Favreau, and Dave Filoni are taking over. And as people move on. So, and I see nothing in the public eye to deny that. Okay, again, how do I come about this? Is I looked at what happened to Gina. I looked at the backlash against Kennedy, what happened like that. It was announced she was cut off from Lucasfilm. All hell broke loose. 2 weeks later, 2 weeks, I think it was 2 weeks, the Forbes article by that guy, last name of Del Vecchio, shows up. All right? That and I think that might have been Chapek. This is 4D chess. Someone's playing 4D chess here. And what else? Come on, Kojak. Come on. Kojak. Just wait. Kojak. Come. Get over here. Come on. No. Just walk in. Just move him out of your way.
I'm leaving.
Okay. All right. I'll see you there. All right. So we got the Del Vecchio article in Forbes. And then it goes on. The first Reddit leak. All right. With, there's no, Kathy and John like each other. Blah, blah, blah. They respect each other. No, they don't. They don't. Go to that. And then we have the Variety article. And then and I'm going to say this, the second leak from this person, the one I'm talking about today, came out 2 weeks after the first Reddit leak. Okay. Then the Variety article, which basically said Alan Horn is leaving. Then we get the announcement of Dave Filoni's promotion. And then we get Taika Waititi admitting out loud in public in a legitimate news source, Lucasfilm is going under restructuring. You know, I mean, I'm like, you know, where there's smoke, there's fire. And right now I can see the smoke from here, and I live in Pennsylvania. Okay? You know, it's look, this is how I'm going to approach Kennedy. She's in the rearview mirror. She's in the past. If you go over to Pablo's Twitter account, you'll see I talked about this. He basically admitted it without directly saying it, that he was done, and so was she. Okay? And it really says a lot if you realize he was being thrown under the bus. I have no plans, and I don't know where hers are. Okay? But if you look at it, his Twitter account is reminiscing, it's nostalgic. He's talking about his library, doing a shelf walk with all the books he's got. And it's like, you know, so honestly, I mean, grain of salt, but if you can look at that and demand and insist that there's, Kennedy's fine, she's not going anywhere. Matt Kadish. You're an idiot. Okay, you're an idiot. You are, there's no other way to explain any of this. All right? She's in the rearview mirror. The moment she jumped on that plane for England to annoy Harrison Ford for 2 months, that's it. I mean, she's done at Lucasfilm. I mean, they don't right now. It looks like they don't have a leader right now. Okay? That's what it looks like to me. So, anyway, I don't know. I mean, what do you guys think? If you've read this now, what do you guys think? Because it basically kind of makes me go, well, we've got a flash of Jason Ward, and we've got Pablo mentioned, and we've got the old white man, Alan Horn, being thrown under the bus for actually, kind of insisting that they try to remember where they're trying to market this thing. Bringing up horrible things like business. I don't know what do you guys see? I'm really just, I don't know. I mean, it's very interesting to me. And I sent this to Nick or Coach and Glenn at Echo Base. I sent it to Jason Hunt at Sci-Fi for Me. And I sent it to Doomcock too, because I hadn't read it. I hadn't seen it before. No one had. Andre was like, it's very, very, and something just told me today, why don't you go and look? So I did. And I was like, oh, well, and it's there. Now, all we got to do, like I've said this before, is sit and wait, because there will be more official announcements. I know, you're right. I mean, I've got that beautiful bottle of Clico, and the morning, and hopefully I'll be able to get it cold enough to drink it when we're getting ready to party. I mean it, man. I'm like, we have to do this. This has to happen. And I want it to happen. I'm ready to rock and roll. All right. But yeah, I mean, again, if you can look at all the public stuff we know and not think that there's something to what Doomcock has been saying, and what Andre has been saying, and what Walt Disney World Pro's been saying, and others. You're deaf, dumb, and blind. Okay? And I've said this before, I'll say this again. The people in the fandom who deny it don't want anything to happen that's good because they probably, if they're honest, are afraid that their channels will suffer. What do you think, dog, huh? You guys want to see him? You want to see Kojak? Here, Kojak. Kojak, come here. There he is. There he is. There he is. Kojak. Oh. So, yeah, he's a good boy. He's being good. Yup, the doggo. The big boy, the big fella. He's been, it's really humid today, so I'm probably just gonna walk him around a little bit outside when we're done, but I'm not gonna play with him too hard because he gets overheated really easy. And I don't want that to happen. Because last time I took him for a walk and it was like this outside, he got sick. He was throwing up. So no more getting my dog overheated. But anyway, so I don't know. What do you guys think? Is there something to this? Does it look real to you? Because it seems real to me, and it makes sense that she would go to Reddit as a place that would be legitimate in her mind or in her PR people's minds to put this out there. All right. And of course, you can't find VOP on here because they basically delete their name. They post it and then they're gone. It's really weird. So I don't know. It's just really interesting. And the idea that there isn't a civil war. After some of the crap that Doomcock has reported about Kennedy just being a royal bitch, she has to fight that narrative. But I'm sure there are enough people in the business that know of her and know her that know that she's a cunt. Okay? Working with her is so what you guys need to do is keep your eyes open because I'm going to let you go pretty soon. Go on to Twitter. What you do is you go to the Lucasfilm leadership page on their website. Look at everybody. Remember who they are. See if they've got a Twitter account. And then see what they're posting or if they have posted. Okay. Oh God, Connie. When The Rise of Skywalker premiere was, and she was being interviewed by that horror of horrors, Andy Gutierrez, and her sister was there, and Lin-Wen Brennan was there, and Lin-Wen Brennan looks like a triplet. She looks just like them both. And I was like, oh my God. And somebody in the chat goes, oh my God, she multiplied, and freaking out. It was so funny. But, yeesh. But yeah, she, but go on Twitter after you look at their names, write their names down and see if they're on there. And if they are, see what they're saying. Because when I looked at Pablo Hidalgo's wife's Twitter account, she took off her Lucasfilm stuff. It's all off there. But if you go on her LinkedIn, and I have ways of doing that, she hasn't removed it. Now, you're not going to remove it from there, but you're not going to have it in the present. She hasn't updated it yet. There you go. But keep your eyes open and just watch what they're saying. It's very weird right now. Anyway, this is Steph. I got to go. See you around the galaxy. Behave. Be well. And